in the.
Shout out everyone in the chat. Jake Paul is in his corner. Nate Robinson is in his corner. These guys are about to throw down. I'm topping Loz's drink up. We're having a good time. I hope you are at home. There's not a great deal left.
Wow, what a top up.
I've got Jameson's if you want some of that instead, because we've made it through a lot of this now. You ready?
Yeah. But let me sip that first,
I'm
and then
throw it
I'll.
over.
What in the same?
All right, okay.
Don't ruin.
This is how I am, man.
Don't use good whiskey like that.
Sorry.
You don't mix it like you do with your wine. Oh, this doesn't smell as good as the other one.
Living in America.
I'm more of a fan of Hay Club than I am.
Oh god, that was a bit
12.
of a stinger, wasn't it? Lawrence doesn't really find the old whiskey hard to
Get through.
glug.
No.
You glug it down.
I glug a fine whiskey, I will.
Glug it down, boy.
Jake looks in great shape. I'll give him that. What did you think of the weigh-ins?
Jake always looks in good shape, to be fair, from the Deji fight. But he just looks different. He behaves different. He moves different. The shiny silver gloves are an interesting choice. He's looking him dead in the eyes. He's trying to psych him out.
Nate isn't breaking focus.
Nate looks quite calm.
I wonder if LeBron James is watching right now.
This is the thing. Jake, whether or not this is all bullshit, we'll find out. He behaves like a guy who's been fighting way longer than what he has. I don't know if that confidence comes from just all this time in front of the spotlight. This is just normal to him, having cameras on him. And that does take a few years for people to shake off. He's probably going to find it easier to repeat what he does in a boxing gym in front of cameras because it doesn't bother him.
Oh.
And Nate Robinson has come after him very quickly. And this is a really interesting start here.
Wow.
Normally there's a feeling out process, and Nate acted very differently there and unpredictably, which could really help him if he can continue that. It's a nice left hook from Nate Robinson there.
That's one thing that we didn't maybe estimate about Nate here, his speed.
Okay, so we're seeing some real speed from Nate. You watched him in the NBA, and obviously the guy can jump, and that's a part of him, and he's really trying to bum rush Jake Paul here and just run at him, throwing punches. That's going to be difficult for anyone. It's a clever thing to do because it's really hard to handle. You're not trained to fight that way.
No.
So the likelihood is he won't have come across someone to do this to him in a gym. But the problem is if you time someone running at you like that, you can do damage. And he's just been clipped with a nice right hook by Jake Paul. And there's a lot of clinching going on immediately after that.
Both of them looking to stop the other one's game plan, really, aren't they?
I'm interested to know what Nate's boxing skill is like when he's not running wild at you when they are. Because this will naturally settle down now.
Yeah. This is pretty... No, they just keep clinching.
So they're both having their shot, they're throwing, and then they're clinching immediately after that so that the other one can't counter on them. I think Nate's been told to do that. He's clinching a lot here. The referee needs to keep them apart. Basically.
How long are the rounds?
I thought they'd be 3-minute rounds. I'm pretty sure this is 3. I know the main event is 2-minute rounds.
Right, okay. Which is unusual, obviously, for a main event.
See the back muscles on Nate Robinson there, by the way.
Great definition.
Yeah, he's chiseled, this guy.
Yeah, although to be fair, downward light will give you great definition. yeah. As we don't know, we never get any downward light on the show, which obviously I don't get to flex my abs.
Oh, and he's down and he's out! Jake Paul sleeps Nate Robinson with the one shot. There's no way he's getting up. This is over. Nate Robinson is slept by Jake Paul, is he?
Is he? He's saying he's hitting the back of the head, is what he's saying.
Bro, you can fight or you can't fight. You run at someone like that, you're going to get clipped.
Referee's not wearing his mask properly.
Nah, Nate Robinson is fucking ready to drop here. He's blinking, and this is all, and he can't stay on his feet now.
Done.
He's done. He's out. Is that it?
Are we not going to see a
knockdown.
replay?
This is a knockdown again. This is the second knockdown of the round. This is Jake Paul, round 1, 2 knockdowns, and Nate Robinson is struggling to stay on his feet, and he's running wild at Jake. He's not looking like an experienced boxer at all, because he isn't. He's a basketball player, but he's not showing the common experience that you need to navigate your way through this.
Bit of a strange one there, because he was claiming he was hit on the back of the head.
Well, when you run so fast at someone, you can't like the guy throwing at you isn't going, I'm going to hit you on the back of the head. It ain't a deliberate shot. He's just trying to land. And
that's technically illegal.
Look, let's put it this way. In 2 rounds of boxing against Gibbo and Jake and Nate Robinson, Jake Paul has dropped his opposition 5 times. Mm-hmm. You might dislike him. The man is obviously learning some shit.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Here we go.
And it's this shot here. Is this back of the head? No, that's a great
side.
hook.
Yeah, that's actually really good.
He dropped this motherfucker. That was a good hook.
He wasn't expecting that either, was he?
Yeah.
Robinson?
And it was great work from Jake. He timed him, and I literally said, if you keep running at him, you can be timed, and that's exactly what happened.
Perfectly as well. He caught him.
He
perfectly.
couldn't stay on his feet after that because, this is second round now. Credit to Nate Robinson. He's coming at Jake now, and he's really going for it. And I think he probably feels, when you're inexperienced, your pride's going to be hurt. You're going to want to go out there and prove that you're the dog that people think Nate Robinson is in the NBA.
They're knocking heads as well, aren't they?
Yeah.
You don't want to be undermined by someone who's almost 10 years your junior.
And a YouTuber, which is obviously the whole...
Yeah. And obviously like a farm boy from Ohio.
Jake needs to just keep this guy on the edge of that jab and start using his jab more. He's not using the jab enough right now.
Do you think he's just trying to take it?
Yeah, so what's happening is... because he hasn't established the jab, Nate is able to just run at him.
Yeah.
And if he keeps him on the end of that and just finds him and then pops him, it should be over at that point. Because I might be wrong, but it looked like that really hurt him in the first round.
What would you call that, Ham? Was that an overhand right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. He really just threw it over that shoulder, and that's it. There's the jab. And there's the right hand! And there's him out.
He's done.
Done.
He is done.
And that is... game over. There's no way you're getting... fair play. Nate's getting up.
Wow.
He's getting up. Is that him? He's up. He's up.
I think what he's showing here is he's really not good at balancing his body when he's rushing in there, but if he keeps falling down...
Boxing experience, isn't it, mate? You can be a good athlete, but we're saying experience, and Jake's got a finishing instinct, and he's out! He's knocked him clean out! He's asleep!
Wow.
Jake Paul just knocked him clean out!
That in the second round.
The man is snoring, face down, on the floor, Zeds emoji. Come on.
Wow.
He has slapped this cunt.
That was impressive.
Slapped him. Like he fucking said he would. Say what you want about this guy, but Jake Paul has been learning boxing, and he ain't just no YouTube boxer anymore. There is levels to this shit, and we're seeing Jake Paul on another level to anything we've seen from any YouTuber by a long way, by the way. Not by a little bit, by a long way. Get this in. You can hate him, love him. I'm not saying this because I like the guy, dislike him. I couldn't give a fuck. I'm just saying what I see. We're seeing boxing skills from a YouTuber way higher than anything we've seen before.
Yeah.
It's not even close, by the way.
Technical
it's unbelievable.
Skills.
Credit to him. And I'm not saying Nate Robinson looked good, but it's the way he dealt with him, emphatic fashion. Someone running at you like that. It's a fucking irritating thing to go through. You're not trained to that. It's a bit difficult. He just walked him onto every shot, stayed composed. Same thing with Gibbo. Composure is something that takes a while to learn.
Didn't get flustered.
Credit to him. I feel for Nate Robinson because the guy is probably going to be devastated.
Yeah, me too. I think
he's really knocked him out, by the way.
This guy is struggling to get up.
This is minutes later. The guy can't even get on his knees, bro.
I get the feeling, though, that what we're also finding out here is not only the power of Jake, but that Nate obviously isn't a natural boxer. And, I'm very impressed by what Jake's just done there. I don't want to take away from that.
You were saying to me when this fight was first made, just to give some credit to Jake, because
this guy's a dog.
People are going to shit on Nate Robinson and be like, oh, the guy's a bum.
Yeah, no, don't do that.
Like, you said to me, if he beats Nate Robinson emphatically, I'm going to be impressed because the guy was a mad, hard man of the NBA.
Yeah.
And for all we watched him running at Jake, the point is he was applying pressure. He was doing it erratically. They don't really give you, a manual in boxing to just handle that. It's a bit different. It isn't technical boxing. It's just someone coming at you like that. But he handled them perfectly.
It's interesting because obviously,
Jesus Christ.
That's him just down
the second knockdown.
Time. Yeah, no, that was actually his third knockdown, but the second round knockdown. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, my bad. And this was the one where he slapped them. So ultimately, we're watching the first YouTuber who you basically get dropped every minute.
Yeah.
You're
in the
fighting
ring.
him.
Yeah.
You know, we watched obviously Logan and KSI go a long time fighting each other, and they struggled to apply that level of damage to each other. And that's through technique. That's through learning the game of boxing. What we're saying with Jake Paul is he's catching on and he's dropping people every minute. Boom, dropped, dropped. And it's happening easily.
And
What I'm repeating this for is because once you hate someone, it can cloud your judgment. I've let this happen to me before.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you think of Jake Paul, he's learned boxing well. Like,
yeah, we've all let that happen. I think at some point. I've got to admit, it's not that I didn't expect it. I expected Jake Paul to win this fight, right? But I'm a little bit upset to see a hero of like my childhood dropped by him. And I think a lot of people will be a bit upset to see him dropping someone that some people out there would have thought he's coming up against an athlete, he's going to get his comeuppance now, and he didn't.
Yep. Nate, it's hard because the more I learn about boxing, the more I realize just getting in there and having the balls to risk it is an achievement in itself.
Yeah. Nate's clearly devastated here.
And, it takes a lot for a man to put this on the line like this. But, this is what a lot of people thought could happen. And it's went even more impressively than I thought, personally. I thought, this is sort of the way it would go, but fuck me. Saying it actually happened, you're like, Lord, Jake, you've been putting that work in. Fair
Robinson got clapped. A lot of people saying now JJ just needs to take this fight now.
I mean, look, JJ's a big, strong, durable, hard-working, got the heart of a lion type of guy. So it's a compelling fight. But, man to man, I'll be completely honest. Jake Paul is putting in so much work right now that JJ needs to be working equally hard come the next year before this fight happens. There needs to be a lot of work, because if you let your opponent get that steal on you, it's going to be way harder, because in boxing, the first 3-4 years, you're learning at such a rate that 6 months to a year, if you've got that advantage on your opponent, it's a giant gap.
Huge.
It's not a little thing, because early on you pick loads up. You've seen me, Loz, you pick so much up early on.
And you're a slow learner.
Yeah. So,
it's a joke, by the way. Actually, it's kind of scary how fast.
So it was
learning.
2-minute rounds, by the way. Was it?
No, I think it was 3 minute rounds, actually. Yeah, sorry. But what we were finding very often was in the first minute, and the first minute of both rounds, Nate was just rushing Jake. Now, what I found impressive about that was Jake did not panic.
What we've seen, and that was the knockout. Great knockout. That was a really good knockout, by the way. It was
Nate Robinson
beautiful.
really helped.
The placement of the punch, though, in the Gibbo fight and in the Nate Robinson fight, I get. We're talking about YouTube level here, so I know a lot of people comment, "Oh, he's just fighting, YouTube guys." He's a YouTuber, so we've got to compare him to the YouTubers. They applied so much pressure on him. They went after him, and I credit both Gibbo and Nate Robinson for having the balls to really try and push Jake and not, it'd be easy to sit on the outside and try and eke out a decision or try and play it as safe as you can. Both of them had heart. Both of them went after him. So what we've seen from Jake is when you apply pressure to him, he deals with it well. And you can only do that if you've had pro after pro after pro in there, putting you in difficult situations, and that becomes normal to you. To react it under the spotlight and under that kind of pressure, and someone as big and strong and as quick as Nate Robinson, you got to be ready for that, and he was ready. In
his post-fight interview, apparently Jake just said he would knock McGregor out.
Fucking hell! This is the thing, though. I said to you, he's going to have something lined up to say at the end of his fight to get the headlines back for Jake Paul. Is it bullshit? Yes, it's bullshit. Obviously, McGregor is fucking light years away from Jake. But it's smart marketing. It works.
This is an interesting one, which I don't really agree with, but I'm interested to hear what your take is. It says, I think you're giving Jake too much credit here. Fair play. He beat what was in front of him, but he was awful. That's not true, is it?
Who was awful?
I think he's saying Nate Robinson is awful. Nate Robinson did something which was a technique, and clearly Jake was not panicked.
That was the whole point was put him under pressure, go after him, and rough him up. And it was a similar game plan from Gibbo. I think when you probably aren't going to outbox the guy because he's been boxing longer than you, he's bigger than you, he's younger than you, he's got better reach than you, you kind of have to come up with a game plan. All right, it didn't work, but I don't know what else they could have done. yeah, Nate Robinson isn't a good fighter. He obviously isn't a fighter, but he went at it. You know what I mean? He
Agreed.
really went for him. So you've got to give